This video is sponsored by Professional Photographers of America. Join a community of over 32,000 photographers that includes equipment insurance, education, and business tools made specifically for small business owners like you. One of the questions that I get asked over and over and over again is, Jesse, what camera should I buy? And that question sucks. But the question I wish you would ask me is, hey Jesse, how'd you make that cool YouTube intro? And why are you so cute? The first half of that is the question we're gonna answer in this video. I have been making these over-the-top, elaborate YouTube intros for quite a while now, and I love making them. But on this last OneWheel Pint X video, we set up some behind-the-scenes cameras and documented that process, and that's what we want to share with you in this video. A little bit of where the idea for the intro came from, and then the practical steps that we took in order to pull it off. Spoiler alert, took 3 days and 2 full shoots to get it right. This is the box that I have been waiting for. This is the new OneWheel Pint X. It's a pint with the features of the XR. Or so they say. Let's find out. What? That's so annoying!
That's perfect.
The foundation of the original Pint intro was quite simple because we had a locked off shot, and so I was able to basically just cut out sections of the video and paste them, into a bit of a collage on top of each other where the lines are seamless because the camera never moves, so the background is always the same.
It's a OneWheel Pint.
And this effect is really quite easy as long as the camera doesn't move at all because the mask lines will be hidden just due to the fact that the background is identical in every shot. But as soon as the camera starts to move, well, it all falls apart. I knew that the simplest way to pull off this effect with camera movement would be to have some sort of tool that can repeatedly make the exact same camera movement. And just like before, we can stitch it together without you seeing those mask lines. Sometime in the last, half year to a year, I backed this on Kickstarter. This is called the Moza SliPod Pro. It's a monopod, but if you hit these buttons or connect it to the app, you can adjust its length, but then also use it as a slider, as a dolly, this interesting multifunctional tool. So we started off by setting up this SliPod right down low to the ground, and I had the FX3 mounted to it underslung on a 14mm. And the reason I did that is because I wanted these objects on the ground to feel larger than life, and I wanted the camera to push over top of them, making it just feel like this kind of really magical, otherworldly, almost probe lens type shot. Pause it here. This is actually our second shoot day of doing this because the first day we tried filming it, we hadn't really thought through the choreography of it all and in which order which thing would happen. So in order to figure out the timing and the choreography of this all, we taped a piece of paper onto my iPhone and we had it lined up right next to the Moza app. So we had a progress bar that showed us where the camera was in its move. And then while testing these shots, Dave would just mark down on the paper.
And mark.
When the box hits 10%, okay? That means you can come up between 13 and 15%. Here we go.
Falls. Sweeping comes in now.
And just through trial and error doing this over and over, we were able to roughly figure out the pacing for each individual shot. This is the box that I have been waiting for. Me coming up from behind the box was actually quite simple. So for this to work, we just tried that dolly drop-off shot over and over again until the box landed as close to center on the backdrop as possible. and then we did not touch the box. The broom shot, I wish we had done a little bit different because I realized it's just legs and hands and feet. There's actually no reason that had to have been me doing it. It could have just been anyone here at the studio walking the broom, but whatever. This took quite a few tries to figure out what we liked best because the original version started like this. So in this version, we had the transition to the pint box in between the legs, and I actually made the pint rail a little bit yellow. Thought that was kind of interesting because we thought it was gonna be tennis ball yellow, even though it wasn't.
It's blue!
But this moment here, it was just too distracting. The way that my head and my eye line changes, it just felt, I don't know, I wasn't happy with it. And we ended up switching to this one. So you have the same version of me through the legs, and then the transition happened on the back half. You'll also notice that as I walk by, we're cleaning up things like the apple box here and the tennis balls over here. And it was probably like a week or two after I had finished this that this was more or less the finished product. But I realized this eye line difference was just driving me nuts. The way I'm looking down between the legs and then suddenly I'm looking up. And that's just because on each of these takes, I had to fake as if I was watching myself go by. And I didn't know where I was gonna be. I didn't know where I was gonna look. My brain was already scrambled. And I don't think it was until the day before posting that I was like, I can't live with that eye line change. I've gotta see if we have another take that looked better. And thankfully, I did have another take where my eyes looked more similar. So you can see here, it's not perfect, but it's better. So just like in that pint video, I'm just masking sections of different clips and compositing them together to look like one singular take. There are a few main issues that you'll run into masking all these layers together like this. The first one that we had is lighting. And then the motion blur of things going by means that things are see-through behind, so you really do have to pay a lot of attention to detail, a lot of trial and error of seeing where you can put that mask line against edges, how much you need to feather it, on which side of the edge do you need to feather it, and eventually you'll come up with something that's not perfect. Like you can see a bit of the blue here on my shoulder. I'm sure you'll have similar things on all of my legs if you really were to pause it. I'm not really afraid to make those types of mistakes because this is a learning environment for me. This is my first attempt at making a composite using motion control. And I'm not making a Kit Kat commercial. This is a YouTube video where I'm very much trying something for the first time. It's a low pressure environment. And now going forward, if a larger brand wanted me to do this, I have so much more insight on what problems to avoid because I'll just take that information forward with me into future videos, future clients, future me. Yep. The rest of this effect is quite simple. I basically just now had to get a shot where the camera was all the way at the end. It had already finished its move. And I just wanted to spin the board a little bit. And this process, honestly, we probably tried 100 times.
We're gonna get one more.
And then eventually, when we got that nice 2 full spins, landed where we want it, I mean, come on. I would now get a shot where I walk in from the side and jump on the board and ride away, just like the original Pint video.
What?
This was a very real moment, one that I didn't plan on using in the edit. We actually ended up shooting that spin and jump on several more times, and still this worked best for the edit. It was kind of the funniest option anyways.
That's so annoying!
And so I'm sure a lot of you are asking yourself, like, why? Why go through all of this work for what is essentially a YouTube product review? And the answer is that I have 3 answers for you. But before I get into the why, which I think is really important, welcome to a word from our sponsors, PPA. I'm kind of embarrassed to admit this, but I went for a very long time without having my camera equipment insured. And I lived constantly under the stress that it might get stolen or I might break it, and how would I possibly recover from something like that? Thankfully, I don't have to stress about that anymore thanks to the Professional Photographers of America. They offer you $15,000 of camera equipment insurance, and if you had to replace all of that, it is a flat $350 deductible. Or if you're just looking to get it repaired, it is a flat $50 deductible. And that alone could be an absolute lifesaver for your business, but they actually offer a lot more than just insurance. You'll also get access to a whole host of their business resources, things like contract templates or model release forms or cancellation letters. All these things that you can compare, you can edit them to suit your own needs. Along with that, you'll also get access to their data recovery services, which just gives you a lot of peace of mind in case a memory card fails or a hard drive starts malfunctioning. I've spent so much money on several occasions having to recover footage that I lost off of memory cards, so this is just way easier and way cheaper. Whether you're looking to start out your business on the right foot, or if you're someone like me who's been doing this for a while and realized that you should probably start to take your business more seriously, then PPA is a great place for you to look. There's a link down in the description where you can get a special offer on your membership, and I really think you should click it right now.
Jesse,
Yes.
is it always this complex?
No and yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. The first answer is kind of the businessy answer, which is that it's good to set yourself apart from other YouTubers. There are thousands of tech YouTubers that have similarly nice sets that come to you and give you the information, and those videos are great and they get views and that's awesome. But in my opinion, what's gonna make people not just watch your video but actually subscribe to see more are all those things that you do that set yourself apart from all the other product review channels.
Listen, it's because I'm self-conscious. I want people to believe I know what I'm doing.
The second reason is kind of like the like more honest / vulnerable one, which is like, honestly, I'm a little bit self-conscious. Like, I always feel like I'm trying to prove myself in these YouTube videos. Like, hey, I do know what I'm doing. I know how to use a camera. I am a video person. I'm a filmmaker. And I know I don't have to do that, but I do. Yeah, so I do that.
I really didn't get into filmmaking as a career first. It's always been about like, I like spending my time doing this. How can I make it so that I spend more time doing this?
But the third, and this is the most true answer for me, is that it's the part of video making that I love most. It's really the only part in this whole process where I find I can lose myself into something of a flow state, where I forget how much time has passed and I just truly enjoy all of the problem-solving steps along the way. It's what drew me to video in the first place, was all the problem-solving and like technical meets artistic aspects all wrapped up into one.
Yeah. Now, the rest of the video can suck because this part's kind of cool. Sweet. Let's dive into that.
Hey, thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you learned something. Thank you again. Thank you. I've thanked you twice. You know I'm thankful. Link down in the description for PPA. Thank you so much to the Professional Photographers of America for sponsoring this video. Click the link. Thank you for watching my movies.